Hey everyone, welcome to Teachers Love PD live show. I'm super excited. Today we're having amazing guest, Yaritza Villalba, and she's going to share about the power of global connections. And I'm super excited. Yeah, I was waiting this to invite Yaritza like for 1 year. Just imagine how excited I am. And please don't forget to drop in the Q&A box from which part of the world you're tuning from and what is your teaching role. I'm going to invite Yaritza right now. Yaritza, welcome. you know, I'm
Hi.
I'm super excited you're sharing today, and you're sharing all about the global connections, which is super inspiring to me. And so, would you like to share with anything about yourself for the audience, for our audience today?
Yes. Hi, beautiful people. My name is Yaritza Villalba. I am an educated innovation lead at Team Flip. My focus is cultural and linguistic diversity. So, anything dealing with all of our wonderful viewers today, I'm your person, but also an emphasis on culturally responsive teaching and just really getting to know students in and out of the classroom. So, what are their interests? Do they like music? Do they like to dance? What foods do they like to eat? So, all of the good things that make us individuals, but also groups of people that love to do the same exact thing.
This is amazing. And I would love to mention also, would love to mention that today we're sharing with Wakelet Resource Collection from Jaritza and with Feedback Wakelet Collection, where you can add your beautiful highlights, wows, and give shout out also on socials. Don't forget to tag Jaritza on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook again, wherever you are actually. So on and also Microsoft Flip and myself. And don't forget to use the hashtag Teachers Live It so we can easily find all your beautiful voices, all your beautiful highlights, all your takeaways from the session. We can collect them in the beautiful feedback Wakelet collection. And this is like your thank you for our amazing guest speaker today. And Jarissa, would you like to announce what you can share with the audience today, as well as since they are part of our session, something
Yes.
like certificate?
Yes. So at the end of today's session, because you are attending a professional learning opportunity, we actually will give you all a 1 hour Flip PD certificate. So just make sure that you tune in and you hold off until the end, and we'll share the link in the chat.
Yes, so stay tuned. If you're watching us on Facebook, please hop in, click the link, join us on YouTube. You can grab all the resources, like at the very beginning of all these things that are happening, to amazing things. And, I would love to ask the very first question, Jaritza, if you don't mind to. So,
Of
my
course.
favorite question, actually, um, what is inclusive education? What does it mean to you? Like, it's
So I'll start off with an example, Anna. Have you ever felt like you sat in the classroom, regardless of where you sit, whether if it's in the front, the side, or the back, and the teacher just goes on with their lesson, right? And the topic is something that you're not connected with. You're now performing group work, but no one gives you a task, no one includes you, and then everyone hands in a paper and just puts your name on it, right? The teacher never emphasizes, hey, Yaritza, Anna, what are some things that you want to do? What is a role that you would want to play in this group? What is your biggest takeaway? Or even when you think about this topic, how do you connect with it? Inclusive education is when you have all of your learners in your mind when you're practicing pedagogy, when you're planning for lessons, and even when you're executing lessons. When I was a peer collaborative teacher with the Department of Ed, my go to line was always a lesson plan is an amendment, right? Meaning it should always change with time. So I can't use the lesson plan today that I created 11 years ago. And if I did, I have to change it and make sure that it has multiple entry points for each individual student. And I know some of our viewers today are probably laughing at me because I'm saying each individual student. But guess what? I taught in the Department of Ed in New York, and some of my classrooms were 42 students in each class. When
gosh.
I say preparing for each student, those first 2 weeks of school, and of course throughout the entire year, you're taking the time out to ask questions like, what are some things you like to do? What are some foods you like to eat? What's your favorite subject area? And that way, even if you don't get to put sandwiches or music in every single lesson, you're tying some to the interests of students. You're making them a part of whatever it is that you've planned. So that's inclusive education.
And that's why, because all of that that you just shared, which is incredibly inspiring to me, I almost cry, um, you're going to present an IST Live
Yes.
2023. And
Yes.
I want to say congratulations.
Thank you.
Yay! You know, totally deserved. Amazing. What do you do? What things you create on Flip and beyond? It's incredible. I can't wait when you start, diving in and everything that you have prepared for today. And the floor is yours. The mic is yours. And I just want to say, if you have any questions, please drop them in the Q&A box. And yes, so I think we're ready to go.
Yay. Oh, so it's on me. The spotlight's on me. Let me put the spotlight. Ooh.
I love it. Yeah.
When we, Anna, when we think of global connections, the first thing that should come to everyone's mind is just this idea or this surplus of culture and interconnections that happens when people actually interact with each other. The first thing that comes to my mind is the Industrial Revolution, because I used to teach history, so I kind of connect everything to history, right?
You're a high history teacher, right?
Yes, I'm a high school history teacher. I was. So whether we think about the enslavement of Africans, whether we think about how the Trail of Tears impacted indigenous peoples, whether we think about the migration of Asians from the continent of Asia into the Americas and why we call them indigenous peoples, or even just the Industrial Revolution. When the United States began to industrialize, it was because we heard of what happened in Europe. We heard of all the amazing things that were invented in Europe, and we wanted to do the same thing. But with that connection, we learned of how to do it a little bit better, right? When you think of global connections, the first thing that should really pop into your mind is, how do I really connect with this person that I'm actually having an interaction with? What are some things that we have that's similar? And what I've learned as a person that was born in Panama but raised in Brooklyn is that there's so much culture and history that ties all of us together, regardless of how
Yes.
we look, especially language, especially music. I feel like these are aspects about, every individual that makes us a community. When I began school, the first thing that I remember my teacher used to say is, it takes a village to raise a child, which is an African proverb. And they're using it here in the United States in schools. And I would think of it as, yeah, because you have teachers, you have staff, you have administrators, you even have your neighbors who sometimes lend a hand into your learning process, whether if it's learning about something that was taught in school, or a lesson that you learn on the playground, or even something that you're learning in the house, how to make a recipe. And so, global connections, I always see it as it's something that is necessary, it needs to occur. And I feel like I found the way to do it in a meaningful and purposeful way where we could have student to student interactions. Every chance that I get to learn from a student, to me, is a chance where I sit there almost like a kid at a candy shop. I want to suck it all in because kids are the future. They have ideas for exploration and experimentation that as adults we have to really tune into. And so with global connections is really just sitting back and making connection through language, through music, through foods, and how can we expand on that as a culture, but even for our future.
And I totally agree with you, because when we had this mystery Skype culture exchange sessions, whenever we getting really closer to the point that what we have in common, like, oh, we've got pilmeni or we've got dumplings, and these are so similar, so the students, they are getting so excited every time when we have this connection. So
Yes.
I strongly believe in that.
Listen, it's the way to the future. It's if I'm a teacher, regardless of whatever content area that I teach. The first thing that I would want to do is to like get outside of my classroom and figure out what other teachers are doing, right? We learn from each other. We say that
Yes.
the teachers are the experts. And so you want to learn from someone who's next door to you or across the hall from you. And it's the same with students. Students want to learn from other students. But what happens when all of the learning has only taken place in one class and you haven't given students the opportunity to explore? It's dimming the students' light, right? But if you connect them with kids from other countries and
Real
other
people.
real
Yes.
people, those real world
Yes.
connections, that's what real world connections are. Then we get to discuss things like SDGs. We get to create and connect to some real world issues and how can we really use each other to solve those issues and those problems that's plaguing our communities.
Yeah. I want to say hi to Anne from Flip.
I,
Yeah.
I see Michael Harvey too.
Yeah,
Hey.
so I'm just scrolling down the chat. I want to say thank you. Thanks everyone who joined us. There's amazing geography today. I'm like, whoa. I want to give shout out to every one of you because we all in different time zones and that you tuned in today. It's really precious. Yay.
I see,
So
Anna,
yeah,
I see that Juan asked, what skills do we need to develop in order to connect
sure.
with people meaningfully? And Juan, what I'll say is first, the skill is to have an open mind. Not all of us think the same. And with different cultures, we all don't do the things in the same way. And so, in order to really have that meaningful collaboration, that meaningful connection, you have to go into it with an open mind and also to understand that we don't know everything. You're going to learn from other cultures. And I'm going to talk a little bit later about this global cultural exchange that Flip is doing in partnership with the New York City DOE that you all and your students can actually participate in March.
I just want to say wow. Oh oh my God, there are so many comments. I'm just trying to, navigate myself. Sorry for this. Yeah, I just okay, I've seen this one. Yay. Yay. Teresa, would you like to start sharing your screen? And if you wanted me to share any links, I'm going to share the resource collection link really in a very short time from now. Just okay.
Yes.
Yay, Andy is here. We just had a quick chat today. Yay, stay tuned for the 10th of
Yeah.
January.
So, so Anna, first I want to share with everyone this idea for Flip Global Culture Exchange before I share my
Sure,
screen.
sure.
So, the New York City Department of Ed reached out to me to create this opportunity where students from District 75, which is the largest school district in New York for students with disabilities, to be able to experience this study abroad program. These are students who maybe or maybe not will get the chance to travel outside of the Bronx, New York, meaning outside of where they live, outside of their neighborhoods and their communities. And so, what best way to teach them about different cultures than to bring it to them through Flip? And so, with this idea, I had a 48-hour turnaround to create this exchange on Flip where I'm asking kids three simple activities or tasks. One, dealing with cultural foods, because you can learn a lot about a person
Yes.
through their stomach.
Yeah, that's true.
One, about music and dance, because in different cultures, we use dance to celebrate weddings. We use it to celebrate religious beliefs or to honor religious beliefs. We use it to bring folks together. We also use it for spiritual meanings of healing, depending on which culture you're from. And
Yes.
then the third is a day in a life. That way, students can spend 3 minutes just explaining where they're from, what do they do from day-to-day basis. And then students in New York are able to see those videos and comment. There goes your exchange. We know that some of these students are not going to be able to post a video.
Yeah.
So some may post mic only, some may just text, but then you have it where students from other countries are responding back and forth. So this is going to take place the entire month of January. But don't worry, I see that some of you might be falling out your seats. We have the opportunity open for March as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen because Juan, the question that you asked about the skills, we're going to use immersive reader during this
Yes.
entire experience. And I want to show you how. So let me share my screen.
You know, Teresa, when you mentioned that some of the students they will be able to share with the with the audio only, this is actually the power of inclusive education and the accessibility that we can have on Flip with immersive reader, with all the captions and the mic regime only. That's incredible. So the screen is on.
Yes, can you see it? Global
Yeah,
Cultural Exchange.
yeah,
Okay. So what you're looking at is the flip group for January. It's going to look very similar in March. The only difference is I'm going to take the learning from January and change some things up for March, right? Because everything is a learning process. And remember, the first thing that I said was your lesson and your lesson planning should be
yeah.
created like an amendment, right? Changing with times. So these are the flip topics that I created, which is a welcome to all students and staff, which is a view only topic, where I'm giving specific instructions. If you're new to Flip, sign up, and then share this join link only with your students. And then you have the three topics, which is a day in the life, 3, 2, 1, go, and cultural eats. So I'm going to click on cultural eats so that you guys can see what I'm asking students to do. Food plays a major role in our cultural traditions. It's what brings us together. And if you're anything like me, you love to eat. Um,
Yes.
but foods also have sentimental value. Like I know for me, it's my grandmother's fruitcake, and I know that during the holidays, especially now, with her not being able to actually bake the cakes, I feel a little lost, or I feel a little empty because that's how I grew up. I grew up on fruitcakes during the holidays. But with this cultural eats activity, students are going to create a video in which they share their favorite dish or food. And I left this open because some kids may have favorite candy from their country that they would like to actually show. So this favorite dish or food that is native to the region and or culture, the importance of this food or dish to their cultural traditions, and a photo of the dish or food. And after they submit their videos, they're actually going to go and search someone else's video and add a comment, right? Because remember, this is supposed to be an exchange.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're looking at my screen, you should see that I added an attachment to how to translate this text. Instead of going to this video that I created for our participants, I'm going to show you how you can translate this for every language that your child or your student speaks. At this moment, we have 63 languages in Immersive Reader. In 2023, they're actually adding 8 more languages. And the Immersive Reader team, the Microsoft EDU team, they're working tirelessly to
Yes.
constantly update and add more languages. Like I had a PD from with people in, well, educators in Nigeria, and we talked about the 570 languages spoken in Nigeria. And I was like,
Wow.
okay, we have to get at least 3 of those in immersive reader, which we're going to work on as a unit. So what you're going to want to do if you want to transform this text is at the top right hand corner where you see the book and the speaker. If you hover over it, it says immersive reader. All of your students have complete access to this. So what you're seeing is the same on the educator side or the lead side and the student side. You're going to click on that. It'll open up immersive reader. So let my laptop load.
While it's downloading, I would like to highlight a few comments from our
Yes,
today's guests. So the students are the experts. The idea of learning side by side and cross the screen. This is
yes.
fantastic. From Marialice. Marialice, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing the name in the correct way. So sorry for that. And also from Stormy. Yes, connect hearts and minds. The world is a much better place than the media portrays. That's true.
Yes. Can I snap my fingers? Just because I'm agreeing. Yes.
Yay.
So what you're looking at now is immersive reader, right? This is the text in English, the way I wrote it. But remember, we're trying to transform it. So I'm going to actually do this backwards. Instead of just looking at the text preferences, I'm going to go directly to the reading preferences first because I love that wow factor. So let's click on reading preference. And then let's choose a language first. So, do you have any language in mind that I can see if we have, Anna?
Spanish, Spanish, yay!
Spanish.
Let's
Okay.
get to Spanish.
So what
Yeah,
I love
the
about looking at Spanish and immersive reader is that Microsoft understands that even though folks speak Spanish, there's different dialects. And so
yes.
you have Spanish for Latin America, Spanish for Mexico, and Spanish for Spain. So I'm going to click on Spanish for Mexico. And then I'm going to click on document. So you'll see the entire document transformed to Spanish. I'm going to go to line focus so that you all can see how it's already been transformed. And then let's play around with it first before I actually click on the voice so that you guys can hear it. If you're an English teacher, if you're a history teacher, if you're a math teacher, if you're a gym teacher, regardless of what content you teach, remember, we're always caught up teaching a different subject area within our class. And so, what I love to show is that with immersive reader, it also breaks up the syllables, the adjectives, the adverbs, the nouns, and you can use this also as a teaching moment to teach students parts of speech.
Yes, I use it. Very
Yes.
helpful.
Yes. And then for our students who this text may be a little too small, you can increase the size of the text. You can decrease the size of the text. And so I'll leave it at 36 just in case. But you can also change the line spacing, right? You can leave it this small or you can increase it. So that way you're able to really see the words. And then the font. Font as a teacher, it's really important because you have to really teach to the learning styles of your students. And I love that immersive reader, but also technology allows that to be possible, right? And so right now you see it in Calibri. When I was a teacher, I didn't even use Calibri, right? I think I used to use Times New
Me
Roman,
too.
but what I learned, especially with teaching some students with disabilities, is that for our dyslexic students, Comic Sans is the preferred font. So you're
Yes.
able to change that, especially for your dyslexic students. And then you can change the theme. So now we're dark, right? Which means that the words are going to pop out more for students. And students are able to do this on their own. You are probably noticing that the word comidas, it's actually highlighted. Well, this is another I love, right? Within immersive reader, some words are actually linked to a picture dictionary. So this actually shows students pictures that are tied to the word comidas, which means food. This is awesome.
This is my favorite part with the picture dictionary. I know how much the dyslexic learners they struggle with this understanding of this, the science.
Yes. Yes. And
Yeah.
then for our students who may struggle to read or who just love to listen to things out loud. I know adults that love listening to audio books, right?
Me.
So you can click play and you can
Arroz
just
con curry, comidas culturales. Existe una fuerte conexión entre la comida y la cultura.
and this is all in Spanish, right? But if you want the kids to go back and forth between the original, which is the English, and whatever language you choose, at the top you can just have them do that. You no longer even have to go back and just take things off, or deselect whatever you've selected. But also voice settings. You can make this as fast as you want by clicking on the rabbit,
La comida juega un papel importante en nuestras tradiciones
or as
This was fun.
slow as you want by clicking on the tortoise.
culturales.
And we all know, right, who won that race. Was it the tortoise or the rabbit? Just ask.
Yeah.
And then you can select the voice, whether you want it to be female or male.
Culturales.
And that's still slow. So I know you all are looking at me like, what?
Culturales. Cada plato tiene una historia
And it's the same. I can change this back into English.
of one's life. Though used to categorize
And that's what immersive reader is. So Juan, this is one of the skills that, if if you're in Bangladesh or you're in Mexico and you want to participate in this exchange, or even just use Flip with your students and have them interact with other students from around the world, you can do so through Immersive Reader and Flip. What I really love about using Flip as a platform is the privacy, right? So I know for sure that I we had 30 educators, well, 33 educators from 30 different parts of the world who are in the first cultural exchange. And some of the members have already joined, and some will join the second week of January because that's when they come back from break. But I know that they're only going to share this link with their own students. And so this is the privacy aspect. Nothing is going to leave this platform in regards to the connections and the interactions. And this is the 3, 2, 1 dance. As you can see, the topic image is of a hoop dance from the indigenous populations, and it's used as a healing dance because I also want students to be able to see, you know, what's being shared, or if they're in Ireland and they want to share an Irish step dance, or if they're in Nigeria and want to share a specific dance tied to religious beliefs or weddings. It's an integral part of who we are and what we do, and I think it's going to be amazing. So I'll stop sharing my screen because I can talk about this for days.
There's a comment from Dr. Matthew Joseph. Yeah, and I'm totally agree with that. So you are so inspiring. And this is very clever that you started with immersive reader, because many educators, not many, but I just can say for some of you, maybe you think that it's super not easy to engage your student into the global project. Depends on the age of your students. You think, oh my god, a PBL, project-based learning, is so tiring, and how to organize all the things, how my students will be sparked and understand everything. So this level of accessibility on Flip is amazing, and with immersive reader especially. So this is fantastic. Like, you can involve even parents of the students who originally came from different country, so you can interact with them thanks to immersive reader again.
Yes, yes, and that's the goal. And I see that in the chat, Dr. Harvey, you asked, are the responses moderated, and is the teacher a
Yeah.
co-moderator? So to protect the teacher and the students' emails, I'm the lead, and the New York City Department of Ed is the lead. We're the only two that actually have access to the teachers. In regards to the responses being moderated, no, they're not moderated because we have almost like this reassurance that folks are going to take this serious since it's only students, right? Beyond just the educators who have signed up. We're not leaving this open, regardless of, a person wanting to
Yes.
participate. The only folks who got the link to the Flip group are folks who have registered. This is not a Flip group that's open to the public, meaning I didn't share the Flip link on Twitter or anything. It's just the teachers who have signed up, who have stated what school they're representing and what classes they're from. So I actually believe that folks are going to take this serious. And sometimes when you create tasks and experiences like this, that's the best way to lead forward, because now they know that you expect them to do this with some integrity and some honesty.
Yes, and here's like the question from Juan. Hola, did you say collection? I'm sharing out the collection right now. So sorry for this, because I was listening to Jerisa so carefully, like, wow, there's immersive reader. All my favorite things are in action, and I love this live demonstration because we can prepare this, videos, things like recorded versions or just presentations. But this is live. You see how it works in real life. It's fantastic. So I'm about to share it. Just give me a sec. Hmm.
The,
Yeah.
the
So
sign up, the sign up and registration for March is included in that Wakelet resource that was created by Anna.
would you
And
like me to share it right now, Teresa? Would you like me to share it in the
you
chat?
definitely can. We can share it now, and we can share it later as well.
I'm
Um,
sharing.
yep, yep. And if you want the direct link, we can put that in the chat as well for registration. It's open. It'll close in February. And it's the same way that we did the first one for January, meaning it's open to everyone. As long as you're connected to a school and you're a school teacher, And then we'll do it that way. If you are not connected to a school, or you're not a school teacher and you want to actually participate in a cultural exchange, I actually have a cooking with culture group. I have a parenting group that you all can join, and I'll put that in the chat myself. That way, Anna's not like clicking everywhere. You can join and you can become a part of it as well as adults. And this is open to everyone. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yay. So I'm just looking through the comments. 1 second. Just want to highlight. This one is from Feli. Hi, Feli. Hola. Food is very important component of our identity. That I love talking about. My students, they adore. Whenever, I'm a part, like a guest speaker, like just a guest, I'm invited by other educators sometimes, to be a part of the lessons. So students love talking, chatting about food. It's like the best.
Yes, it's what brings everyone together. Like literally,
Yeah.
if I was to call my brother right now and say, "Hey, I'm cooking," he'll be over like soon. He wouldn't even ask what. He'll just come over. Food brings us together.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's immersive reader. Totally agree. It's like, I've been talking about immersive reader for years, like for 2 years in a row. And, it's always improving. As Jarisa mentioned, the number of languages and,
Yeah. Oh.
there's a shout out to Ann Cosmo. Oh boy, Ann is here. Now it's a body. Yeah. Woohoo.
So, I mean, I would love to answer some questions in the chat. What are some questions or some ideas you all have for cultural exchanges? Because one other thing that came to mind was this should be a professional development. Um, and I would love to help you and your teachers actually come up with a cultural exchange, even if it's just for folks in your country. And Anna's going to actually add that link for the Flip PD request.
Yeah.
And you can just literally say that you want PD on a global cultural exchange, and I'll provide the PD for you, and you could just sign up, and I have you covered. And I know that in a little bit, we'll also tie this into my children's book and culturally responsive teaching.
Yes, please do mention this.
Food is a great idea. It can't be experienced in some. Yes, it's definitely experienced in so many ways. I'm learning more about food. I'm a huge foodie. Like I eat every and anything that you put in front of me. um, and so you learn so much about different cultures, especially with how they cook and what they cook. I remember when I shared with friends before that when I was in my early teens, well, I used to travel to Panama back and forth because 85% of my family still lives there. And I remember coming back to America one summer, and I shared about, how good it tastes to eat iguana. And people were like, ew, ew. And I was like,
Yeah.
it was curried iguana. You didn't even know. It tastes like curried beef. And it was so delicious. It was so good. And I was just like, you have to open your mind up
Yeah.
to these experiences. Like in February, I'm taking a trip to Morocco, and I cannot wait to eat the food in Morocco. I cannot wait
Yeah.
to just learn more about the culture and to just be able to just take everything in without blocking myself by making assumptions about how something tastes or how something was cooked.
There is another comment from Dr. Matthew Joseph. Food was a big part of Mackenzie Bisabuela.
Yes, yes.
Jorita, do you have your book like somewhere next to yours? Please, could
I
you
have
share it?
I
Like,
have Mackenzie's time machine here. And I feel like I had Mackenzie's B-side Bola near me, but Mackenzie probably took that into the living room. This is
yeah,
Mackenzie's time machine. Let me see if I can find a copy of. I don't think so, without me like getting off the camera. Um, but but I have two children's books, well, three technically, because one is totally in Spanish. And it is basically a culturally responsive children's book series that takes kids on adventures. So this is Mackenzie's Time Machine. actually begins in ancient Egypt, right? And I see that some of our participants are from Egypt, and I
Yeah.
love it. Um, so it begins in ancient Egypt, where I'm just sharing a story with my daughter that, the first peoples were found in Egypt. We're all from Africa, regardless of the shade of our skin or what we were taught to believe. Everyone was from Africa and is from Africa. And our ancestors, the ancient Egyptians, were responsible for so much, whether if it's math or even the calendar dates, or even scientific innovation. And so, with that book, Mackenzie's on this journey and this adventure of just learning about different cultures. And like Matt said, with Mackenzie's bisabuela is a tribute to my grandmother, which is Mackenzie's great grandmother. And it talks about food. It talks about sauce and ceviche and culture and dance and costumes. And for those of you who read it, I know you love it. And if you haven't read it, you may want to just like get yourself a copy. That's like a shameless plug right there, right? Because it just explores what it's like to be an Afro Panamanian. That's what I am. I'm an Afro Latina. I was born in Panama, but I know my history, and I know that my great grandmother is the daughter of an enslaved woman. She was raised in Great Britain before migrating to Panama.
Wow.
So once again, you have these stories of the global connections of my family's heritage and history beginning in Africa. And now some of us are here in America creating more branches on that family tree.
Amazing. So we also have history project, like global project. We had amazing like project time with students from Australia, and Kylie. Yeah, she actually sparked this project. So we shared with our perspective, that's not just from Wikipedia or from somewhere where students can learn, not from the textbook, but from real people who had this experience, who have this experience of living in one of the countries, and
Yeah.
share with everything that is happening you know Yeah, so this is absolutely inspiring. I can't wait to get your books whenever I have the opportunity. So I want them in Spanish, in English, and all the other languages, because that's something that I've been dreaming for a year actually, but this
Yeah,
circumstance.
I've had your book packed for
Yeah,
well, it's February. Um, Anna's
yeah,
book has been packed in my house since February, but I can't send it out to her. But
yeah,
we don't know what the future holds, and hopefully
yeah,
your copies will get into your hand, and we'll be good to go, and we'll be able to chat about some of those images in the books. Or I
yeah.
might have to just get you a virtual version. I'm sure we can do that, Matt.
You're amazing. And there is a comment from Dr. Michael Harvey. Why am I talking? Because I love food. I love all the topics, all the discussions that Jerisa has created on Flip, because I've been a part of some of them, and they're like, super cultural. And this the I don't know how you do it. You create really epic things, really insightful things, and meaningful.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, that's another one about snail soup. You.
Ooh. So I've eaten snail before. So I'm already really good at eating
Whoa.
snails. But now you're seeing snail soup, and I'm like, I have to have it.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. So how was it? Like,
It was really good. I actually had it last year for my birthday. Shay, who's Mackenzie's dad, he took me to an Italian restaurant, but didn't know anything on the menu. He just knows that I like food. So he's like, we're gonna go to this four-star restaurant. And we get there, and I'm like, do you even know like what escargot is? Do you know what anything is? And he's like, no, but I'm sure you're gonna like it. And of course I order it. And it's like, it was so good. It was like drenched in olive oil and garlic. And I
oh, I
plucked
love
it out
garlic.
and I ate it, and it was so good. And then I dipped the bread to like accompany it. I could talk about this all day, y'all. I really love food, which is a reason why one of the topics within that flip group is food, because we all feel some kind of way when we talk about the foods that brings us warmth, that reminds us of good times, and even of our struggles, right? Because like my family, we came here in 1991 after America invaded Panama.
Mm-hmm.
And for months, um, my family, we survived off of, water with sugar and bread. And
Mm.
till this day, I'm always reminded of that part of, if I ever go hungry, I know what helped me survive that invasion. I know my mother gave me water with sugar and bread. And I've always asked her, like, what is the significance? Like, why sugar? And she's like, that's the only way she could really convince us to keep drinking water, back to back to back to back to stay hydrated. But because we were kids, we didn't just want to drink water. We wanted juice, we wanted soda. And at that
Yes.
time, because of the invasion, a lot of stores weren't open. So we couldn't even afford to go to the capital, to actually buy water, I mean sugar and juice and soda. So humble beginnings.
Oh
Oh,
my.
Angie.
Yeah. You see? It's the food. This is the food magic, actually.
Ooh,
Right. Yeah.
can we
Yeah.
do something for you?
Fingers crossed,
Okay.
fingers crossed.
Yes, yes,
Stormy.
fingers crossed. Does anyone have any other questions? Because this chat is booming. What I would love to do, Anna, if you have a chance, can you put in the direct registration link for the cultural exchange?
Yeah, I just want to redouble this, okay? I'm going to make it once again because the chat is running fast.
Yes.
So I've just shared. Please check out this on YouTube and the Q&A box. There are the links, and I'm going to share with the feedback collection. But I love the part when you were sharing with the book of yours. And please, if you watch us in the recorded version, thank you so much for watching. Take your captures and highlights and wows from the session, post them on socials. Don't forget to tag Jaritza, Microsoft Fleet, myself, and use the hashtag teachers love it. Would really appreciate to see what you learned from today's session, what you like the most, because there was so many inspiring moments, and I've got so many takeaways from you, Jaritza, because I love to watch your journey and what you do. This is, as I said, it's unique, it's inspiring, and thank you so much for sharing globally, and sharing is caring, because you mentioned that teachers, it's great that they can learn from each other, but not everyone like sharing so much. So I think these are the 2 years that we're been through.
Yeah.
Surviving. That's this is the time when we need to be together, better together. There's a hashtag of Microsoft Leap as well. I think this is the best, the most inclusive community ever, that grabbed all the amazing educators from across the globe and made them a part of their community, like you, like Andy, Feli. I can, there's so many, and yeah, that's true. It's I always say the truth. So I'm sharing, because I felt this so much, especially
Mhm.
this year, and I'm super grateful. And yay, Sean is here. I just wanted to highlight.
Hi,
Yay.
Sean. Hi, friend. Yes, you can always watch the replay, friend.
Yeah, it will be here forever. And again, if you watch us on Facebook, I've seen that some people drop their comments from Facebook. Come on, tune in on the, YouTube, grab all the link, and it's high time to start your registration. Teresa, you mentioned it starts from like January 2023.
Yeah. Well, the second link, this link that we're sharing today, that's in the Wakelet, but also that we're going to put in the chat, this starts March. So you have February is when you're going to get the welcome email and the flip group. So you can use all of February to get your students prepared. You can send out the flip group only to your students. And then March is when you can upload videos and the exchange begins. So, like for the exchange in January, I have already sent out the welcome emails last week. Teachers have received it. Some teachers are on vacation, so when they get back,
Yeah,
they'll release that to students. Others might have just said yes to the group, joined the group, and then in the beginning of January is when their students are going to begin to actually upload the videos. And then the entire month of January is the exchange. So the same thing for March. If you feel like when you signed on with your students and no one posted yet, guess what? Be the first. Have your students be
yay.
first, because then that also means when other folks are logging in to do their videos, they can interact with all of your student videos first as well. So I always tell people, take the leap of faith, Upload your videos, have your students upload their individual videos. Remember, these are going to be individual videos. That way students can have this equal exchange. And I know that some teachers may want to do full class, but also remember, you want to give students the opportunity to have this conversation on their own. They may want to ask questions about, like, do you live near a grocery store, right? I don't want students to feel like they're trapped to have just educational questions. It may be questions about travel. It may be questions about history. Like, I was supposed to travel to Ghana at the height of the pandemic with my students, with 25 of my students. And because of the pandemic, we couldn't go. But for
Yeah.
weeks, we actually zoomed in with schools in Ghana. I was supposed to meet the Minister of Education, and
Wow.
they had so many questions that I know for sure. They didn't ask those questions to me, they asked it to my students, and my students were able to give responses. And so, with this experience, we want students to be able to respond and to interact in a respectful manner, but also for the educators to fully understand that this is possible for students to do on their own, as long as we provide the platform and the opportunity for them to do so.
Yeah, yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much. And yeah, thank you. Thanks everyone. Keep sharing. If you've got any questions, drop them in the Q&A box. And yeah, share with your excitement on socials again. And Jarissa, would you like me to share with anything else on in our chat?
Yes, in our chat. Before we leave, I would love for you to actually put the link to the flip certificate, right?
Yes.
So that comes with a short survey about how today's session was, but also keep in mind, everything that we showed today, you can do it with your students. If you have an idea, like I know my colleague Jornay loves to say, if you can think it, you can flip it.
I love this.
What I'll say is, if you have an idea, you can turn it into an action. So I usually wake up sometimes with 1,000 ideas, and that's because when we sleep, we have so many dreams, right? So I'm not literally saying 1,000 ideas. When we sleep, we have so many dreams that sometimes we only remember one. But I try to turn whatever it is thought that, the light bulb goes off, and I try to turn that into a flip group, and I try to share it out. And sometimes people are not interacting with it, but guess what? It doesn't matter, because I still created it, and I know that if it's not being used today, it can be used tomorrow or the next day after that. So turn your ideas into action if you really want to go and move forward with this. If you want to try it out on the way we're doing it with New York City first, that's totally fine. The registration form is open. It closes in February. And then from there, you can take your learnings and create your own path. And if not, I could provide PD and show you how to do it as well. Or you could do both.
Ah, fantastic. And this is the power of project-based learning. Probably it's like long way thing to take, but it's super meaningful. And, I always say this to my students, and because I tell them that, it probably you won't see, all the certificates like tomorrow or anything, but this is super precious that what you do, and they feel it's like you're learning on things a little bit deeper than just the regular like 1 hour lesson or something.
Yeah.
So I just want to say thank you, Jaritza, and thanks to everyone who joined us today. I've shared with the link. Please check it out on I think I've shared this, so let me yeah, I've shared this. So you can grab your certificates. You can prove your learning this way, and yay.
Anna, are we able to bring up that post of the certificate link on
Sure.
here as well, so that folks
Sure.
on Facebook can see it? Yep, perfect.
Yeah, so go and click it, and grab your certificates for sure. All the links, all the live chat is going to be saved, so if you watch us again as a recorded version, thank you so much. And please check out the live chat, so we would see all the resources, all the links there. And Teresa, would you like to add anything else, like
Tag us in your certificates. Once you receive your certificates, post on Twitter, post on Facebook, post on Instagram, post on LinkedIn, post everywhere. Tag us. We appreciate you all from joining us today. I was so looking forward to this conversation, and I'm glad we made it possible. And I'm looking forward to another conversation, hopefully in February, Anna.
I'm always ready. I was waiting for you. Like I wanted to pull myself together to ask you to present for year round. The things happen here, so I was a little bit out of this world. But actually, this happened. I'm super grateful to you, Jaritza, that you shared your voice, your incredible voice, super inspiring ones. And I would like to give you a shout out that you're a super generous person. I'm so honored, to know you, to meet you once, and still, I can't wait to have more amazing sessions with you in the future. So it was only one; it's not enough for sure. And thanks everyone for your comments. I don't know what that means from Dr. Matthew Joseph. So
You don't know what it
uh,
means. It means
yeah.
you should write a book, Anna.
Oh
That's
my
what
god.
he would love to
Oh my
publish
god.
a book for you.
That's super generous. I'm shocked a bit. Okay, I lost my voice. I need to drink something. Thank you
You
so
know,
much. You're like, yay. um, yeah. So I'm going to rewatch this because I'm going to share again with my feedback as well, because Teresa, you inspire me so much.
thank you.
Again, any last words from you, and we are going to get into the end of this amazing session.
So I honestly just want to say thank you to everyone who has joined this session. Um, it really does take a village to raise a child. It takes a village to create and sustain a meaningful community. And I know that these past 2 years have been really difficult with the pandemic. And if there's anything that we've learned from that, is that when you create a community of like-minded individuals that have one goal in mind, which is to engage and teach students to be active and participant citizens. We're making magic, right? Magic happens. And so I really hope that you all were able to take, even if it was just one small inkling of takeaway or things from this session, because we really appreciated you taking the time out of your day to join us. And I know that this is the beginning of something truly amazing. I can just imagine in my mind if there's 60 different exchanges going on at the same exact time in 60 parts of the world. How truly amazing would that be? But it starts off with the thought of y'all coming to join the March session. So make sure that you register, join the March session, and let's build on this community, and let's make sure that we empower all of our students to just be themselves.
I don't know how you do that, but we had a quick, this meeting before this main live, and I always cry. This, these are for you, Jerisa. Thank you so much. Whoa,
Oh,
I
God.
need to go to wash my face. And thank you so much for everything that you shared.
Thank you.
You're very inspiring, talented, brilliant. I do appreciate your sharing today. Thanks everyone who joined us. It was an amazing session. Whew.
Wait, wait, Anna.
Yay.
I thought you had some music for the participants.
Oh my gosh,
We still
music.
have time.
No, I don't have, but
Oh,
I no, I've got just the reactions. I would love to, but YouTube will block these things. I love music. I would love to do this dance, all of the things. I love party. But that's
next time.
privacy.
Next
Yeah,
time.
next time. I'll be ready for that. You're amazing.
You're amazing.
So stay tuned for a coming webinar tomorrow with the amazing guest speaker again. Stay tuned and have a look in the upcoming webinars. So, Teresa, thank you so much. All the links are in the live chat again. I'm going to share out on Twitter as well with Wakelet Resource Collection. And don't forget to hit the certificate PD link so you can get the certificate that you have been a part of this incredible webinar today. So thanks everyone. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, you just all made my day. So we're sending hearts on your way. Don't forget to grab the highlights, and yeah, stay safe. Bye. Bye everyone.
Bye.